will now call on Dr. Ann Barnfield, Brescia University College.
Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, honored guests. When Dr. Samantha Nutt spoke at Brescia's Breakfast for Bursaries last fall, the audience was mesmerized. How could someone that petite and that young-looking have done so much to help the world? Her first words that memorable day at the London Convention Centre answered part of that question. She said candidly, "I know all of you are wondering how someone who looks 13 can be standing in front of you today to tell you about health problems in war-torn countries." That was just the beginning of this amazing woman's explanation of her life's passion, helping women and children in countries plagued by war. At 25, Samantha Nutt visited Baidoa, Somalia, described by journalists as the city of death. The city, like all of Somalia, had been devastated by civil war. Drought and famine had resulted in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people there. She and her fellow UNICEF volunteers landed on a desert airstrip where men armed with machine guns, AK-47s, and rocket-propelled grenades flanked the runway. Samantha recalls, "The land cruiser that took us into the city also carried munitions, and on one sharp turn, grenades rolled out from under the back seat, then back and forth under my feet. Anyone who's experienced war and the rawness of it and the absolute horror of it can't ever go back to being the same person. You're driven every day to do something about what you've seen." And that is exactly what Samantha Nutt is doing, helping others every day of her life. As a medical doctor with more than 10 years' experience working in war zones, Dr. Nutt is fighting the battle of war-affected children constantly. She and her husband, Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, Dr. Eric Hoskins, established War Child Canada, through which Dr. Nutt has helped children in some of the world's most violent flashpoints, providing direct humanitarian support and long-term programming to war-affected children and their families. With War Child Canada, the United Nations, and non-governmental organizations, she has traveled to Iraq, Afghanistan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Somalia, Iraq, Burundi, northern Uganda, and the Thai-Burmese border, bringing insights and fresh approaches to health issues to people in all of these countries. In addition to her work with War Child Canada, she promotes greater awareness in Canada about the issues facing war-affected children. She is a successful fundraiser and a vital advocate for these children, and has promoted greater awareness in Canada concerning the rights of children everywhere. An expert in family medicine, public health, and refugee health, Dr. Nutt works at Sunnybrook, the Women's Health Sciences Centre. She is an assistant professor at the University of Toronto and a devoted mother. A role model to young Canadians, Dr. Nutt has received numerous awards, including a Leadership Award from Global Television and the National Post, and Canada's Top 40 Under 40 Award. She has been profiled by Global Television as a Canadian trailblazer, by Time magazine as one of Canada's top 5 accomplished activists, and by CBC News Sunday as one of Canada's outstanding leaders. She herself has written for Maclean's magazine, covering war-related issues, and appears often on Canadian television and radio as an expert commentator on war and its impact on civilians. She truly inspires others to make a difference. Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor and in the name of the Senate, I ask you to confer the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, upon Dr. Samantha Nutt.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I admit you to the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Congratulations, Dr. Nutt. Well done. A copy of the citation that was just read. Good. Thank you. On behalf of all assembled here today, I should now like to invite our newest alumna, Dr. Samantha Nutt, to address Convocation.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Merci. Ça me fait plaisir d'être ici aujourd'hui parmi vous. And most importantly, congratulations, graduates. What a fantastic moment for all of you. And I certainly hope that when you have the opportunity to parade across this stage, as I just had the good fortune of being able to do, that you will take a moment just to look around you, at your family and at your friends, and really try and hold on to this memory, because it will be with you for the rest of your lives, which is wonderful. And so I guess it's official. I am the first, though possibly not the only Nutt, to receive an honorary doctorate from the University of Western. And I would like to sincerely and profoundly thank the University Chancellor and President for bestowing this most prestigious honor upon me today. I am very proud to now be one of Western's alumni, so thank you very much. Now, for those of you who are in the back, you may not be able to see this, but as I look out over the graduates today, I can sense that there's a little bit of nervous tension and energy in the room, right? Not just about walking across the stage, but also, I'm sure for some of you, asking yourselves those big questions. What happens next? And in the years ahead of you, it will be really easy, and you can certainly, any parent in this room can confirm this, it's very easy to allow the fluidity of life and the repetitiveness of it to run away with you. And as a parent myself, I can certainly confirm that as you age, and indeed I am not 13, as you age, time does speed up. And the fundamental difference between the phase of your life that you have just completed and the next phase of your life, right now you're most likely questioning everything. But in the next phase of your life, it's easy to allow those very critical questions to be shut out by the daily grind. What am I going to be and what am I going to do with my life quickly evolves into, well, should I rent or should I buy? Which unfortunately lives next door to, how can I get a house in a bigger neighborhood? And coincides with, should we have 2 cars? Is this a good time to renovate the bathroom? And is this wall big enough for a flat screen television? And before you know it, you are wholly invested in servicing the yes. And that's the problem, because you multiply those yeses by a factor of, I don't know, say, few 100 million. Where do you end up? You end up with one of the worst economic recessions that the world has witnessed in recent years. And that's the problem, because unfortunately that's what those of us who went before you did. We squandered those big introspective questions, those questions of who am I and what do I want to contribute to this planet? And we squandered them by turning the volume down incrementally, by letting those questions be drowned out by our cell phones and our ringtones and our surround sound and our otherwise busy, noisy lives. And it would be wrong for me to suggest to any of you that you can choose to be different. Because the harsh truth is that you will have no choice but to be different. Because you are graduating into a climate of economic and employment uncertainty. Youth employment in particular is at its highest rate, certainly since I was sitting in the seats that you're sitting in right now, of lingering insecurity, of malignant nuclear capabilities, of an unprecedented oil spill, one of the worst environmental disasters in recent decades in the Gulf of Mexico, crippling global debt, and armed conflict raging in more than 24 countries around the world. And you, all of you, need to not just keep asking those very fundamental questions about who you are and what you hope to accomplish, but it will be up to all of you to go even further. And I think that you're capable of this, to ask even harder questions of yourselves, because it won't be enough for you to do better than previous generations. It will be up to all of you to be better than previous generations. And I firmly believe that you are up to this task. And where successive generations have measured progress in economic terms and in material terms, it will be up to all of you to measure progress in human terms. Climate change, renewable energy, human rights, corporate accountability, social justice, arms control, protections for the vulnerable, nuclear non-proliferation. These are not naive, hollow ideologies that affect the bottom line in a corporate sense and in a political sense. These are human-centered, achievable values that are the bottom line. Because ready or not, like it or not, the period of unregulated, unadulterated self-interest is over by necessity. And that is not something to be feared or a loss to be mourned. On the contrary, it offers hope and opportunity for those of you on the precipice of this new stage of your lives to channel your energies and your education into a life and a career rooted in meaning. And this is something that I understand because I've had the good fortune of being able to do precisely this for the past 15 years. And I hear from hundreds of people under the age of 30 every single year from right across this country, actually right across our continent, who hope and aspire to be different and to ask different questions of themselves, who don't just want to live their lives, who want to actually experience life, and who don't approach it from the perspective of what can you do for me, but approach it from the perspective of what can I do for you. And that's to be commendable. You know, I am a doctor, but first and foremost, I am proud to call myself an activist and a humanitarian. And while I certainly don't pretend to have any of the answers to some of the questions you might be wrestling with today, my own work has indeed taken me to some of the most violent and grief-stricken corners of this world, areas of the world where people have lost everything, not only their homes and their jobs and their possessions, but their mothers and fathers, their children, their aunts and uncles, their brothers and sisters, in a violence and a horror that thankfully many of us will never know, but some of us do. And the one thing that I have taken away from those experiences, no matter how brutal or how heart-wrenching, is that there is never, ever a failure of opportunity to effect change. We are simply, regrettably, too often paralyzed by our unwillingness to even try. And I began this address by saying to you that as you move forward with your lives and your careers, you should not squander those big questions about who you are and what kind of contribution you hope to make in your lifetime. Don't let those questions be shut out by the routine of existence. These are certainly uncertain times, as much of a paradox as that sounds. But it is an uncertainty that is not to be feared, because it allows all of you to make different choices about who you are and what you stand for as Canadians and as human beings. And ultimately, it comes down to the choice between ignorance and knowledge, between apathy and leadership, and between walking away and getting involved. And it's your world, and it's your legacy, and these will be your decisions to make. But if you try, and if you remind yourself to keep asking those really hard questions, no matter what profession you choose, I think you will make the right decisions. Merci et bonne chance à tous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam, for your insightful, challenging, and hopeful message today. Your work to improve human conditions and provide health care to those in distress in war-torn countries helped relieve sufferings around the world. Through War Child Canada, and as a speaker, writer, and advocate, you have raised the profile of children who are often the forgotten victims of war. You are a role model for our graduates and other young people nationally and internationally. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me once again in congratulating our newest Honorary Doctor of Laws, Dr. Samantha Nutt.
I now take pleasure in asking the Vice Chancellor to present the convocation, our newly appointed Professor Emeritus.
The designation of Professor Emeritus is an honorary title which recognizes long and distinguished academic service at the university. Will Professor Peter Kane please step forward? Professor Peter Kane completed his undergraduate degree at Northeastern University, and after a brief career as an auto racer, came to complete his PhD at McGill, followed by a postdoctoral fellowship at UBC. Since 1976, Peter has been a distinguished faculty member in the Department of Psychology at Western. During 34 years of service, he has published numerous influential papers about neural plasticity, working with animal models of epilepsy and other disorders. Peter takes pleasure in watching his graduate students mature and develop their own way, very successful careers. His colleagues in psychology will miss him when he retires to Vancouver Island. Mr. Chancellor, may I present Professor Emeritus Peter Kane.
Congratulations, Peter. Well done. We're going to go to the West Coast, right? That's terrific. There you go. I hope you keep active. Good.
Will the candidates for degrees please stand? Mr. Chancellor, I'm very much honored to present to you the candidates who have successfully completed their academic programs at Western. I ask you to admit them to the degrees and diplomas for which they have been recommended by the Senate of our university.
Under the authority vested in me by the Senate, you will be admitted to the degrees and diplomas as shall be announced by the public orators.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Please be seated. Mr. Chancellor, graduate students, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Convocation is the single most important time of celebration in the life of Western. Today we honor those graduating students who through determination, hard work, and intelligence have met the demanding standards of a Western degree. Today is also a proud day for all of us associated with Western, including our Board of Governors and Senate, our faculty, our staff, and our many friends in the community. It is wonderful to see so many members of our community of learning who have taken the time to join us and celebrate this important day in the lives of our graduates and the life of the university. Today, those of you crossing the stage join a very special group known as Alumni Western that numbers more than 260,000 people living in 150 different countries around the world. Mr. Craig Labette is here representing the Alumni Association, and I'll ask him to stand and be recognized. Western's Board of Governors is charged with the responsibility for the overall governance of this institution. Today we have with us Mr. Stephen Coxford, representing the Board of Governors. I'd ask him to stand and be recognized. I would also like to acknowledge and thank the parents, spouses, children, relatives, and friends of our graduates who are here today. This celebration would not have been possible without your loving support. So on behalf of this year's graduating class, please accept our sincere thanks for the role you have played in the journey that led us today. Now let me congratulate once again the remarkable women and men who will graduate today with Western degrees. Today, you become partners in the outstanding academic achievement of Western. So my warmest wishes to each and every one of you. Before we proceed with the awarding of degrees, I have two special requests for those of you in the audience. First, please withhold your applause for the graduates crossing the platform until each group of graduates has received degrees. This will ensure that every graduate receives your full courtesy throughout the ceremony. And you'll get a cue from the public auditors when you can join us in applauding our graduates. Second, we know that photographs are an important memory of this occasion for graduates and their family and friends. To ensure that you in the audience have the best opportunity to get good pictures of your favorite graduate, I ask that you do the following. One year's special graduate is approximately 60 names in the program from crossing the stage. Please proceed to this area to my right, next to the wall, and then our ushers will guide you forward in order that you may capture your special moments on film or on digital devices right from here. I now call on the public auditors to introduce the candidates for degrees.
Mr. Chancellor, the following are candidates from the School of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies for the degree Doctor of Philosophy. Dominic Adwa Andrea Atare. Deanna Friesen. Jay Go. Rachel Hirsch. Teresa Ann Jacobelli. Timothy Andrew Jackson. Emily Jovic. Huju Liu. Sean Jeffrey McLaughlin. Yun Young Meng. Charles Priddle. Jeffrey Charles Stewart. Andrew Chun-Ho Sito. Mr. Chancellor, The following are candidates for the degree Master of Arts: Catherine Hickey, Amanda Jessica Lauren, Allison Elizabeth Park, Stanislav Rajic, Sarah Shore, Renata Wasley, Mr. Chancellor, the following are candidates for the degree Master of Public Administration: Faven Gebermichael, Glenn Hadley, Mary Catherine Elizabeth Heron, Peter John Markfort, Kelly Maureen McCarthy, Glenda Cheryl Ogilvie, Rita Sethi, Mr. Chancellor, the following are candidates for the degree Master of Science: Elizabeth Crawley, Thomas Allen Davey, Jessica Fife, Kenneth Porter,
Mr. Chancellor, the following are candidates from the Faculty of Social Science for the degree Bachelor or Baccalaureate of Arts honors programs: Kim Abramovitz, Heather Adlam, Chan Kong An. Kevin Armitage, Matthew Barrett, Lisa Bay. Tanis Beckett, Karima Betts, Jacqueline Shayna Bilak. Amy Mae Bishop, Aisha Birani, gold medalist, Thomas Bittner. Jennifer Boggs, Brent Brody, Nicole Caroline Brown. Nolan Brown, Dion Bruce, Kaylee Brunton. Cameron Charles Clarence Bryant, Stephanie Campbell, Steve Cassidy. Claudia Chan, Morgan Chapman, Jonathan Ryan Charland. Alicia Cheff, Patricia Ann Sifani, Michael Gabriel Clark. Kyle Clemens, Kristen Cole, Theodore Kogan. Joshua Coles, Robin Joanne Cook, Shelby Corriveau. Stephanie Michelle Costa, Kelly Ann Cornier, Laurel Coyle. Michael Cremasco, Joshua Cummings, Peter Davey. Rory Davis, Michael Durand, Courtney DeWinter. Christine DeMore, Lisa Devereaux, Sabrina DiLeonardo. Helder Dos Reis, Kevin Doyle, Jessica Dubinsky. Brandon Klaus Duval, gold medalist. Alana Dunlap, Elizabeth Holly Dunning. Asha Easton, Carly Eckstein, Hannah Ekolali. Heather Margaret Ellis, Dima El Shorfa, Leah Evans, gold medalist. Jenna Feldman, Megan Marie Ferguson, Sarah Margaret Ferris. Angela Josephine Finney, Gemma Elizabeth Furman, Graham Fisher. Ashley Fisher, Charles Fitzsimmons, Caitlin Lee Fleming. David Frank Fotia, Allison Lee Fox, Amber Fry. Kiyomi French, Brittany May Gabriel, Olivia Galati. Martha Geiger, Kyle Jason Giddens, Jillian Gilby. Krista Gilby, gold medalist. Shelley Gilroy, Daniel Getz, gold medalist. Oh, we got them all. Dana Gold, Andrea Good, gold medalist. Rebecca Gray. Kaylee Marisa Greenberg, Megan Gregory, Julia Catherine Guest. Nicholas Goodobono, Bailey Guslitz, Andrea Patricia Haber. Anna Sophia Harkwell, Laura Elizabeth Harris, Victoria Harrison. John Alexander Hawkins, Tamara Kathleen Heinen, Caroline Hockley. Michael Holder, Miles Ellington Hopper, Amy Hurst.
Ladies and gentlemen, it simply isn't fair for candidates crossing to have their names obliterated with applause.
Iskander Ibrahim, Tanya Natasha Maria Isku, Georgie Ivanov. Tamara Evis, Heather Lynn Jackson, Sarah Jackson. Michael Bradley Jameson, Lisa Yanuzzi, Peter Jarrett. Jenna Lee Jaworski, Jennifer Lynn Jeffrey, Marley Johnson. Joyanne Ju, Nicole Ewan, Sakti Kalachandran. John Callanan, David Kalmutz, Eric Marcotte Katzman. Rena Kaldar, Christine Elizabeth Kerr, Lisa King. Taylor Knapp, Lucas Kolecki, Lauren Karosich. Przemysław Kowalski, Richard Crader, Alicia Krumholtz. And Labette. Okay. Vivian Kwan, Cassandra Lavoie, Kimberly Labette.
Diana Mihaela Lapustia, Bradley Latanzi, Liane Wing-Yi Lau, gold medalist. Ada Wing Lim Law, Elise Darren Lax, Sung Jun Lee. Mei Tal Lewin, Christopher Miao Lee, Chancellor's Prize, Leonard Jacob Lowith. Aaron Lowe, Melina McDonald, Christina Michelle McLeish.
This is a long, big degree group, ladies and gentlemen, so I think we have to get rid of some pent-up applause.
Okay. Andrew Spencer McPhail Barnes, Andrea Lauren Mager, Christina Markey Mamoletti, Emanuela Marinova, Scott Mandich, gold medalist, Alexis Martin. Paris Martin, Jacqueline Masong Song, Lindy Mazer. Alexander Mather, Cassandra Matheson, Fiona McDonald. Laura McGee, gold medalist, Catherine McClandress, Patrick Ian McLeod. Megan McMorris, Laura McPhee, gold medalist, Rachel Simone Mineri. Annalinda Milkey, Emmanuel Marcu, Malgorzata Milcherek. Megan Miller, Marcus Mitchell, gold medalist, Heather Molyneux. Melissa Kali Moore, Melinda Moradipur, Summer Mufawad. Justin Mullen, Jenna Murphy, Camille Naidu. Kylie Neustadt, Carlin Galam Ing, Ryan Nichols, gold medalist. Nicole Nielsen, Robert Nonomura, Jason Novick. Nancy Rodriguez Nunes, Jennifer Obi, Haley Osterberg. Mary Boafoa Sue, Michael Tobias Packer, gold medalist, Jacqueline Page. Alexandra Paisley, Allison Partridge, Lauren Pelly. Jennifer Perot, Nicholas Pettit, Eric Fair. Tyler Plant, Inez Pogla, Rebecca Pei-Yun Po. Nicholas Pollock, Hilary Potts, Sean Michael Power. Kaylin Radcliffe, Stephanie Rakus, Sushila Ramachandran. Christina Raston, Stephanie Riel, Greg Robertson. Jacqueline Robinson, Laura Robinson, Jennifer Lauren Rohrer. Michael Royackers, Jessica Ross, Brianne Russell. Jeffrey Rutledge, Jonathan Samosh, gold medalist, Natalie Skamura. Chloe Scott, Yingzi Xiao, Deanna Sharp. Kayla Shaw, Brooke Lloyd Schechter, Ziyu Shi. Benjamin Daniel Stern Singer, Jamie Smith, Jonathan Airy Smith. Catherine Somerville, Bradley St. Croix, Catherine Starr. Sarah Stedman, Adam Stewardson, Rachel Stewart Spinks. Peter Strandsman, Amanda Stewart Ross, Monica Shafran. Amy Lee Tapley, Natu Thind, Connor Thompson. Mark Tanaguzzo, Daniel Trudgeon, Kevin Tayo. Paul Valiulis, Melody Vandenboer, Nicole Venegas Torres. Alicia Ann Villela, Giovanna Vujicic, Connor Wade. Elizabeth Waite, Denise Catherine Walker, Steve Wallace. Brian Gregory Waltman, Shan Shan, Jeremy Andrew Ward. Stephen Wiseman, Emily Wells, Simon Wetstein. Megan White, Alexandra Wilkinson, gold medalist, Amy Wilms. Caitlin Michelle Wilson, Spencer Mason Witt, Shayna Wolfman. Kirsten Wood, Robin Catherine Young, Teresa Nadine Yurkowicz. Olena Yusufova, Natalie Zarb, Sean Zohar.
Mr. Chancellor, the following are candidates for the degree Bachelor or Baccalaureate of Science honors programs: Naomi Andrews, Nathan Finucci, Carly Rachel Goodman. Shauna Hamat, Jason Hill, Jeanette Jacobs. Magdalena Kazmierczuk, Robin Keller, Antho Lee. Kevin Ka-Wee-Lung, Courtney McCaskill, Pauline Wing-In Lung. Nathalie Ranger, gold medalist. Melinda Sue Rodawa, James Benjamin Thayer. Wanda Truong, Alicia Wickers, Alina Zaltzman. Mr. Chancellor, the following are candidates for the degree Bachelor or Baccalaureate of Arts four-year program. Natalia Acosta Delgado, Katrina Afonso, Robert Aitken. Spencer Alexander, Melanie Alves, Amanda Anderson. Kaylee Frances Auger, Winona Bailey, Catherine Banman. Tabinda Barlas, James Barlin, Julia Bautista. Alexandra Bell, Anashua Bhattacharjee, Sarah Blackmore. Matthew Bloom, Blair Lord Brooks, Leona Susan Buck. Jordan Campbell, gold medalist. Stacy Elise Chambers, Owen Chan. Shun Hui Chang, Allison Chiu, Young Sin Cho. Allison Davies, Jacqueline Elise DeMonk, Carolyn DeMitt. Victor Deng, Danielle Dennis, Rachel DePass. Jessica Dobacheski, Kirsten Downs, Stephanie F. Edmison. Christopher Edwards, Hillary Egan, Farah Al-Khatib. Natalie Epstein, Danielle Catherine Esselink, Lauren Fior. Sandra Forjeski, Emily Fox, Anna Garol. Andrew Gillen, Richard Paul Gorin, Adara Gray. Lisa Katrina Gruenegg, Veronica Jurasinska, Lauren Marie Halverson. Carrie Lynn Ham, Afshin Hassan, Andrea Hawley. Alexander Robert Hemphill, Laura Herron, Tasha Hetherington. Lisa Huvenars, Sarah Holden, Alan David Honig. Kirby Eliza Laura Horton, Angela Hughes, Ashley Irvine. Karina Jacob, Risa Jacob, Elias Jamali. Emily Johnstone, Mark Allen Jones, Evan Cadet. Raya Kazman, Soha Kalaf, Magdalena Koziar. Joanne Kwong, Stephanie Lacroix, Emily Laidlaw. Carol Lamb, Janet Lay, Nicole Leggett. Catherine Lilonic, Caitlin LePerry, Brittany Lockhart. Stephanie Long, Stephanie Lovering, Dylan Lutz.
Amanda Martikainen, Tiffany McDonald, Christian McDowell. Jennifer Nancy McGee, Brianna McKee, Scott McNulty. William Alexander Melnichuk, Stephanie Mix, Felicia Miner. Allison Caitlin Minto, Sarah Moffat, Kayla Morris. Noah Mullins, Janelle Mutu, Julie Nye. Sigfredo Efren Ochoa Valdez, Lindsay O'Connell, Nicholas Olinik. Barbara Joanna Passion, Neil Patterson, Michelle Perry. Lisa Persaud, Tiana Peshic, Alexandra Pocock. Jia Shu, Mark Quinlan, Courtney Ann Redden. Sarah Reed, Stephanie Rico, Caitlin Lacey Rideout. Kristen Veronica Robinson, Chad William Roman, Kristen Russell. Zachary Rishlick, Tanya Sabelli, Nathan Sage. Adela Salkich, Julie Schluter, Melissa Ruth Scott. Diane Alexandra Servos, Samuel Schaefer, Lori Megan Shaw. Daniel Shirkin, Nadia Shivji, Victoria Simone. Andrew Simpson, Vanessa Nicole Smith, Jill Simpson Snellgrove. Jessica Song, Matthew George Speakman, Kristen Stenzel. Andrew Edward Stinson, Dasha Stupak, Zahira Surani. Ryan Taylor, Lindsay Thornton, Krista Lee Traver. Holly Tunks, Tyler Ulrich, Amanda Vanden Bogard, Chancellor's Prize. Shannon Varga, Amanda Wand, Corey Watson. Jennifer Weir, Caitlin Ann White, Matthew Willer. Dennis David Wilson, Sarah Wolfe, Julie Woodcock. Bernard Ho Yin Jung, Ming Yin, Catherine Zeidenberg. Taryn Zimmer, Nicole Zwiers. Mr. Chancellor, the following are candidates for the Diploma in Public Administration. Akrivi Nicolaou. Wanda Karen Patton. That's it.
Thank you. In the name of the Senate, I grant to the Registrar the authority to confer degrees and diplomas to those candidates whose names appear in the official program, but who are not present today. At this time, I invite Mr. Craig Levet, representing our Alumni Association, to say a few words.
Well, good morning, fellow Western grads, and welcome to the real world. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the University of Western Ontario Alumni Association, it is my honor to welcome you as our newest members. And I'm also pleased to say that my daughter is among you and joins me, my wife, and my father as part of 3 generations in our family who have shared the Western experience. Yes, there are a number in our family that are purple. As was mentioned earlier, you join a growing global community of Western alumni numbering more than 260,000. As alumni, we are united by our memories of our time at Western and of the knowledge and friendships we have developed. The Alumni Association is